Can you guys hear that? I'm playing the Who's. Who are you? We'll just let it go once. Probably dates me. So I love that question. Who are you? So my name is Martha Davis Alexander. This show is Through the Looking Glass with Martha. And tonight we're going to talk about rediscovering you. Who are you? Who do you want to be? So the first step in this, and I'm going to tell you just from childhood, it took me a long time to figure out who I was. I spent so much time pleasing other people. And as a child of divorce, if you weren't here last week, in 1968, when I was 7, my mom moved out. I came home one afternoon and my dad told me my mom and 2 of my brothers had moved out. So, and they were very difficult with each other. I will summarize that. That's as far as we're going to go with that. What that created was me feeling like I needed to change every time I was with someone, one of my parents or anyone. So I learned to be a chameleon, to change with my surroundings, to be who I needed to be when I was with my mom, who I needed to be when I was with my dad. I denied part of myself. I denied the part that was like my dad when I was with my mom. I denied the part of me that was like my mom when I was with my dad because they didn't like each other. And I certainly wanted them to like me and not leave me again. And I wanted to be loved. So I really didn't quite figure out who I was. I did a lot of the chameleon and morphing into whoever for a long, long time. And I came across a couple of things in business. One was Strength Finders does a test. And I thought, that's interesting. What are my values? Okay. And then I found out, what are my strengths? What am I really good at? I mean, there are some things that I know that I'm good at that I can lean into. And then it was, so now what really is important to me? And it took me, I spent a lot of time kind of meandering through this path of who am I? Tonight, I'm going to share that path so you don't have to do a meander. You just have some exercises and have some reasons to do some of this. So it's not just kids of divorce who struggle with identity. And let's be serious. In high school, you struggle with identity. When you get married, right? You struggle with that new identity of being married. Who are you in the marriage? Who are you as a couple? Then you have kids, and your identity comes. Once we got kids, had kids, my identity was wrapped up in being a mom. And then they get older, right? And that's not really your identity anymore. So what is your identity? If you get divorced, what's your identity? What you lose something, some identity of who you identified as a wife, as a mother, as a father, as a husband. When you lose your parents, you kind of lose that identity of being the daughter and the caregiver, or the son and the caregiver. So, and empty nesters, once your kids all move out. And now, who are you? So it happens, this identity questioning happens throughout your life. And it is fabulous because we get to choose who we are. We get to look at it and really decide, who do I want to be? Who am I right now? And who do I want to become? And what do I need to get there? So we're going to go through that a little bit. So the questions to ask, right? And you can write these down. Who are you? Who are you right now? And I will give you the exercise of journaling about these questions if you are so inclined. I don't journal as a rule. If I have an exercise, I will put pen on paper and do a conscious just writing, whatever it is, exercise. So in Through the Looking Glass with Martha, we talk a lot about journaling or writing your thoughts down. And so this will not be a secret for long. Writing, subconscious writing is really helpful to get your ideas down. Who have you become? Who do you want to become? Hey, Lynn, so glad you could join us. Who do you want to become, right? Who is it that you want to become? What are your goals? What are your dreams? If you allowed yourself, if I were to say I have a magic wand, which by the way, I do, I have a magic wand and I can wave it and you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. What would that be? A lot of us don't allow ourselves to dream big. And that's part of really discovering who you are. Dream big. Who do you want to be? Do you want to have a radio show? I can hook you up with somebody. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where are you going from here? How do you want to show up in this life? Or how are you showing up now? And how do you want to show up? So how do you want to show up if you have kids for your kids? And if you're in the middle of a divorce, how do you want to show up for your kids in that divorce? What's the long-term impact of that? Who do you want to be? So here's the biggest secret ever. Are you ready for it? Are you sitting down? I'm not, I'm standing up. But the biggest secret is you have a choice on who you are and how you show up. It is 100% open. You can do it any way you want. You have the choice to show up. So let that sink in. You have complete control. And if you choose not to look, that's perfectly fine. That is a choice, not to look and to have status quo. That is a choice. So deciding who you are and then making changes. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So values are the same as principles, right? What are your principles? So James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, has a list on his website of core value list. And you can go through, there are like 50 of them. It's not an all-encompassing list for sure. And there are things on there, so I'll just read like 10 of them. Authenticity, adventure, beauty, compassion, creativity, fame, friendships, fun. Fun is a big one for me, just so you know. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. That is actually something, a quote from my friend Kimberly Crow. Inner harmony, learning, love, loyalty, openness, peace, popularity, recognition, responsibility, self-respect, wealth, wisdom. What of those things are the most important? And you can print the list off. I just printed his list off. I really like James Clear and I like his writing. Print that off. You can cut them up and you can move them around in order and you can then take some away. And sometimes, here is a huge secret. I'm going to let you in on the big secret. Sometimes for you in your being, some of the words go with each other. So there's a word that contains the other words. So you can say, yeah, honesty is really important to me. That and integrity, those are absolutely up there. Does one include the other? Does compassion come with community or citizenship? Are those things rolled into compassion? Determination and, what are the things that go together? And then decide which one of them is the one that for you holds all the rest. It's a container exercise. It's so helpful sometimes to know that you're not getting rid of any of these. You can have all of these values. Absolutely. But what are the guiding ones that you can lean into when something is going on? So for me, I lean into beauty, into nature. That's not a personal beauty like, oh, I'm all that in a bag of chips. It's an inner beauty, an inner desire for other people to feel light and love. I lean into that. I lean into compassion. I lean into kindness. I lean into creativity. I lean into curiosity. Fairness is a big one. And I'll tell you, I don't know if she's on, but my best friend in the entire world, man, fairness is her gig. If something is unfair, watch out, because she is going to jump all over that. And it is not going to stay unfair if she can have anything to do with it. And I know that about her. I know she's strong. I know she's determined, and I know that's true. Some of her other or some other things, strengths. What are your strengths? So strengths. There's a free, you can do a free online assessment, which I did at viacharacter.org. Put that in the chat so that you guys have that. And well, that didn't work so well for me. Sorry. And you can go on and you can buy the whole thing for like $49 or something. But what did I say it was? .org. So you can take that as a character test and see what your strengths are. So I did mine, and quite frankly, I was surprised. I thought they would be different. And I have grown and changed. The last time I did this, it was different. Fun was far more up on the list than it is right now. Perhaps that's because I have fun, and I make everything I do, I try and do for fun. So I always want to have fun. Radio shows are fun. This is fun for me. Hopefully it's fun for you too. So my strengths are creativity, which works because, you have to create a show. You have to create content. You have to be entertaining. So creativity is a strength that I do lean on. Curiosity, love, gratitude, fairness, hope, appreciation of beauty. So you're supposed to limit it to the top 5, but my bottom 3 are like tied in score. And as I looked at that, I thought, that is a piece to the puzzle that is me. That is a piece to my puzzle. And that fits. It fits my puzzle really well, and it makes me understand more about myself. There was a period of time when I took Strength Finders from Gallup. That is also another one that if the assessment is free, if you take it, if you want the full report, it's like $49 or $50. And I'm not affiliated with either of them. And you can find that out. And one of my top ones was fun. And that was back in like 2010. I'm like, fun? What are you talking about? And that's when I realized that part of my happy is fun. I like fun. I like to go do fun things. If I'm bored, it's not as good. Ask my friends, ask my sister, who's on here. So fun is big. And yet it didn't show up as high this time because it's already part of what I do. I don't need to prioritize it. It's already been prioritized in my life. When you find your strengths from, if you go do the BIA character and you find your strengths, it triggered me a little bit because there are ones that are at the bottom. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm not that? And the person who explained it to me is the top ones are the ones that when you are in a struggle, you lean into. You lean into that energy, into that strength, into that state of being, whether it's love or curiosity, whatever it is, you lean into that. And you can develop the others as you go. They change all the time. If I had taken this test when I first got married, I guarantee you the results would have been way different because I was a much different person 30 years ago, just turned 60. So when I got married almost 30 years ago, I was a completely different person. Even in the last 10 years, we all change, we all shift. And that's the point of rediscovering yourself. So here's a question. Another question for the journal. What is important to you? What things, if at the end of the day, you lay your head down on the pillow, and I'm not talking about chores or the to-do list, doing the dishes, whatever. I'm not talking about that. What are the things that when you lay your head down, I am so glad that I reached out to? For me, I don't want to put words in your mouth. For me, it is that I reached out to someone I haven't talked to in a while, that I touched base, that I hugged my kids, that I did something hard. I was nice when I didn't want to be nice. Yes, I don't always want to be nice. Mostly I want to be nice, but sometimes I don't. What are the things that when you close your eyes that you want to say, I did this, and I am happy that that is what I chose in my life? Before COVID, a lot of things are before COVID, right? Before COVID, this is what I want to do every day. I wanted to go out and I wanted to smile at someone and tell them what a beautiful smile they have. Well, that kind of got shot with COVID and the mask wearing thing. So I don't do that now. So I have to find other ways of bringing some sunshine or some light into somebody else's life, whether it's sending a card, and that's me. That's my gig. What's your gig? What is it that lights you up? What is it that if at the end of the day you've done it, you're lit up? So the next thing that you really want to consider after what is important to you is, what are your convictions? What are your beliefs? What hill are you ready to stand on or go to the mat? My brother was a wrestler, so what are you willing to go to the mat for? There are a few things for me that I will go to the mat for. Kindness, equality, fairness, my kids, my husband. And there was something else earlier and I didn't write it down. And if I don't write it down, you may not hear it. So my apologies. That was just a brain. It went. So I'll get back to it if I can. So as we look, this is all a big package, right? These are all pieces of the puzzle of who you are, what your identity is, or who you want to become. So this is a really important exercise, and I do this with all my clients. Yes, I do. Who are your three heroes, your top three heroes? They can be alive, they can be deceased, they can be fictional, they can be a religious leader, or a religious person. They can be Jesus or God or or whatever, right? Your heroes. Who are the people you most admire in this big universe? This one really shocked me too. And then I want you to write down under each name, what are the things about that person that you admire? What are the things that you think make them stand out? What are the things that make them who they are? Why are they your hero? What traits do they have? What values do they hold? What we admire in others is what we seek for ourselves. What we admire in others is what we seek for ourselves, what we want deep down. It was a huge enlightening moment for me. I picked my dad, my brother Jim, and my husband Greg. And they all three had some serious common threads in them. And if I have other brothers watching, please don't be offended I picked those three. It was at a moment in time. It's okay. I was surprised by what they had in common. So don't think too much about it. Just sit down with a pen and paper and write. Just write. Don't think. Don't just first thought. And sometimes that's hard. So if you can't start writing, write. I am just going to go ahead and write whatever I think of and then just keep going. Eventually it will flow. Just write. Just put pen to paper and start moving the pen. And you will come up with some things that may or may not surprise you. I've been surprised by quite a bit in this rediscovery. The other exercise that I want you to do is think about a time. Oops, I tried to put my elbows down. That did not work for me. Think about a time when you were really in the zone, when everything flowed. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to have a break right about now. And here's what I want you to remember. My name is Martha Davis Alexander. This is Through the Looking Glass with Martha. You can reach me at www.marthadalexander@gmail.com, and it's Through the Looking Glass with Martha.com. I help adult children of divorce. And we're going to go to a quick break. I'm going to be dancing, so if you want to dance with me, feel free. I like the music. we're back. See, music is always a good thing. Always stand up and get some energy out. Always gets the energy going. All right, so we were talking about, what were we talking about? Oh, remember a time when you were in the zone? Do you remember something going really smoothly? Everything was just beautifully done. It worked really well, and you were really, really grounded and happy. Everything was just the way you wanted it to be. Can you remember that time? Oh my goodness. That time, if you can get that in your mind, that time is a phenomenal viewpoint of who you are, right? Or who you can be. Dig in that for all the gold that it's worth, right? What strengths did you lean on? What values? What were your thoughts? What were you doing? Why were you doing it? All those things. Your strengths. All of those things went into that moment where you were in the zone. In the alternative, you can take a time when you weren't in the zone, when you were like, yowza, what did I do? And why did I do that? I've had a few of those. And you can look at that and say, what was that about? So I do that a lot with my clients. We talk about what triggers them, why they get triggered, and how it is a whole wheel, a whole circle of being triggered, and then some negative stuff, and then some really bad feelings, and then some self-destructive stuff. And then back to, oh my gosh, I did self-destructive stuff. That truly triggers me. And it just keeps spinning. I teach people how to not do that, how to identify what it is that sets them that knee-jerk reaction. This was probably me learning this in Fearless Living. And the book is Fearless Living by Rhonda Britton. I am a certified Fearless Living coach through her program. Learning about fear and freedom really was, for me, the game changer in my life. That's where all the pieces kind of fit together. There's a few outlying ones that I've done since. And it was a game changer for me to know what triggered me, why I would react, why I had a knee-jerk reaction, and why it spiraled. Knowing that, knowing how to stop it, knowing how to become aware and identify it was a huge part for me. Learning my wheels of fear and my wheel of freedom. The other thing that you can do is there's a free assessment, which is positiveintelligence.com. It talks about the saboteurs in your head and the sages in your head. What are the things that you're really good at making sure that you're good at? And what are the things that sabotage you? What are the little voices in your head? And that was a great starting point for me back in probably 2016, 2017. That was a great starting point for me. It's a free assessment. You can go to positiveintelligence.com. Here is the book. It's a fabulous book. You can also read that. Positiveintelligence.com. It is all about emotional intelligence. So if you are in the middle of something that's really rough in your life, this is a great time to take that assessment and see, because understanding, becoming aware. So when I became aware that I was a people pleaser, it was like life-changing for me. I was like, oh, that's why I do that. And that's why I'm pissed at the end of that. That was last week's radio show, though, so I'm not going to go there again. This time, I took it again today just to see if it had changed in 5 years. And it changed drastically. So the scales are 1 to 10. And I was a high achiever. I was a people pleaser. I was an avoider. I was all these various things. And they were all like 8s and 9s. And I didn't have anything under 6. Nothing was under 6. And 6 was like, okay, this is an issue for you. You probably need to do something about it. I had none of the 10 were under 6. I went, wow. And the beautiful thing is that once you're aware of something, you have a choice. You not only have a choice, but you can go, I was upset because I'm a people pleaser and that was not appreciated. So let me go back and take care of my own emotions. Let me deal with that myself. Or, that bugged me because, right? And the book and his thing explains it really well. The thoughts that you might have, the feelings, the justification lies, the impact on yourself and others. So it's really worth going on and doing that free assessment. And his assessment is very free. And that was also a huge part of putting things in place for me, those puzzle pieces of who I am and what I wanted to become aware of and what voices I wanted to listen to in my head and what voices I didn't. Right? We all have that critical judge that sits there and tells us we're not enough, or we need to do something to be loved or liked, or, my hair looked frizzy on this, whatever. I'm going to get over that in a minute. I'm kidding. It's all good. We all have those moments where those inner critics just talk to us and tell us things, right? My ring keeps falling. And tell us horrible things about ourselves that we begin to believe, because it's from us. They're not true. It is pathways that we learned when we were kids. And I'm not saying everything comes from childhood, but pretty much everything comes from childhood. I guess I am saying that. It is when we are young, right? Fear creates neural pathways, right? That's why we learn to run from the saber-toothed tiger or any other danger, right? That's why when bushes rustle, we kind of take a couple steps back. It is part of our survival skills. And we all learn survival skills. It doesn't matter if you're a kid of divorce or something else. We all have survival skills we learned based upon our experiences. And those are still in place. And once you become aware of them, once you can look at them and say, wow, I do that partially because of this, or I do this and I don't want to choose that anymore. You can choose what actions or what values or what beliefs or any of those things that you want to put instead. You get to choose what you want to become a strength. What is something you want as a strength? You can work on that. You can choose that. You can sit down and say, this is who I want to be. I, at one point, was a bit of a negative Nancy, we'll say. No offense to any Nancys out there, right? I thought I saw everything very optimistically, and I kind of didn't. And as I started to put pieces together and become aware of some things, I said, that's not who I want to be. I want to be the person that when people see me, they go, oh, look, there's Martha. I'm so happy she's here. I want to see her. I want to hear from her. She's going to make me laugh, or she's going to give me a nugget to think about, or whatever it is, right? I want to be that light in somebody's life, even if just for a moment. And that's what I want to be. And okay, my other big really want is I'm going to break the silence, the implicit silence that kids of divorce have. And I'm going to spread what the long-term impact of divorce has on kids. That is ultimately my big stage. We're taking little bites out of some of those impacts. So changes in your life, going solo, empty nester, any of those things, turning 60, any of those things are opportunities. Positive mindset, they are opportunities for growth. They're opportunities for change. They are opportunities to rediscover who you are and who you want to be. And it is an amazing journey. It is amazing to look and see where you are and see where you want to go and set action steps and things that you want to do. So here's my request for you. Decide who you want to be, how you want to show up today, tomorrow, and thereafter. Who do you want to be? What do you have that supports that already in place? What do you have that if you could change it, you might make some different choices? What might those be? When you look back, who do you want to have been in this stage of your life? Where do you want to be? It is 100% up to you. And that is a miracle that we get to choose who we are and how we show up. And we get to do it with awareness and with these tools, right? There are some tools that you can use that you can discover what is important to you. I had no idea what was important to me. I had to be led through it or helped with it. I had to have a coach, or I was fortunate enough to have a coach that helped me discover these things and to go through it. And it was life-changing for me, life-changing for my kids that I went through that, and life-changing for my husband and my friends. So in parting, if any of this resonates with you and you want to have a discovery call with me, my website is www.throughthelookingglasswithmartha.com. You can reach me at my phone number, which is area code 805-422-6865, or you can email me at marthadalexander@gmail.com. What we're talking about on this radio show is the things that I do with my clients on an individual basis. You can listen every week and eventually you'll get all my knowledge because I'm just going to give it all. And that's fine. If you can do it that way, fabulous. Show up, like me, watch the video, do whatever you need to do. If you'd like more personal touch, talk to me. Let's have a discovery call. On your own, journal, talk to a friend. If these things resonate with you and you want to find out, rediscover yourself and see where you want to head next, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Until next time, I wish you guys all the best. And remember, tune in every Thursday night at 6. I will be right here on this station, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. I will be here. My replays will be up on the Going Solo Network. And so please, 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 if anything resonates with you, if you have questions, you can email me. I'll answer your questions. I'll have a conversation with you. I'm here. I am here to help. That is my mission in life, is to help people figure these things out because it's important. It is so important. And having someone ask you questions helps. So until next time, be brave, be bold, be beautiful.